What's up, guys? Knaftastic EDC here, and I have been meaning to do this for a while, and I can give you a ton of excuses. I haven't been able to get it done yet for some reason. So I need to get this knife back to Bad Monkey because he sent me this knife. That's right, Bad Monkey EDC sent me the Benchmade custom Griptillian, model number CU55 3-SS-S30V, and the tree bark and the custom etched American flag to compare with my Hogue Ritter that I got from Rodney Pearson, because this is the first time I've had a Hogue, or this Hogue. I have a couple of Hogue autos, and I've never owned a Griptillian. I own a few Benchmades, but they're older models, and I own a Bug Out and a few other little odds and ends, but no Griptillians. Now, well, I will say, if I were to get a Griptillian, I would probably get the sheep's foot one with the hole in the blade, the spotty hole, I guess you'd call it. I like that overall aesthetic a little bit better, maybe, but I've never held it, so I really don't know. I don't have anything against the Tonto. I love Tontos. I have a ton of them. But with that being said, we are here not to discuss Tontos or drop points or anything like that, but basically just a real quick show and tell of what I like, which is pretty much everything, and there's not really any cons, I suppose. And this is not a professional review or anything like that. This is just an opinion piece, an opinion vid of my thoughts on the two variations. We have one that's designed by Mel Pardue and one by Doug Ritter. Now, from what I understand, Doug Ritter was with Benchmade, and his contract or whatever ended, and he ended up creating the Ritter RSK with Hogue. Right out the box, or right out the get-go, I will say that as far as packaging, I think I like the Hogue presentation better. Comes with a nice case. Of course, I don't have the outer box, but it's the typical cardboard box, not quite as heavy duty as the Benchmade we have here. This did come with a pouch, but I did not have the pouch. It's one of those little like sunglass cleaning pouches with a drawstring that have Benchmade on it. But this actually comes with a hardened zippered case, you know, and it's got the velveteen lining, and I'm not sure if this came with it, but when I got this from Rodney, this was in the package, and some troll food, some snacks. And that's for y'all trolls that comment on my video. Y'all can have that. But let's get this packaging out of the way, and just real quick, just a thought process of these knives. As you can see, they're geometrically pretty much the same size. First off, when I'm handling these, I've carried both in pocket. Of course, I own this one, so I've carried it more, and I've carried this one some, not a lot. I think I like the look of the Ritter scales a little more, this sunburst, starburst pattern. I do like the tree bark on this custom Griptillian. It's nice. Both have a generalized opening feature that is friendly to both lefties and righties. And I believe Benchmade coined it, patented the axis lock, and the Ritter is the able lock. I'm not sure if I should have researched it. I'm not sure if it's exactly the same technically, mechanically, but it functions the same. I do notice that right out the get-go, and I don't know if this knife's been taken apart or if this knife's been taken apart. I have not taken apart either one. I noticed that what's reversed on these is on the show side, you do not see any hardware. On the show side on this one, you see the hardware. Generally, the show side on most of my knives is set up like this. And I'm pretty sure that both of these knives have a D-style pivot. On this knife, it is on the far side. So with that being said, anytime a knife has a toolless bit, more than likely it is locked in place by some kind of a locking feature, a flat, a D, a star, something's locking in place to keep it from spinning to ease in the disassembly of it. With that being said, the one thing that sticks out on these two knives is that they are available for right or left carry, tip up only, which is totally fine with me. I'm a tip up kind of guy. As of, I'd say, post mid 2000s, a lot of knives, or maybe not even that early, maybe 2010 and newer, most knives are generally coming from the factory tip up. Used to be, a lot of times it was tipped down. A lot of my older knives from the 90s were only available with a tip down feature. So that's sort of changed. I believe I got my thinking hat on correctly. But one thing I do notice the difference in these two is on the Hogue, we have T8 hardware that is screw heads on either side, okay, and it's T8. On the Benchmade Griptillian, we have non-toolless on the show side, which is a nice aesthetic. You get rid of that screw head. But the downside of that, which I like the toolless presentation look, it gives it a cleaner look, but we have T6 hardware. So I'm not a big fan on the T6. T6 is tiny, especially if you're heavy-handed or if the hardware is not well made. Very easy to strip out. But from what I understand and realize, that Benchmade is an American-made company, as is Hogue, that it should be quality hardware. The clips are about the same, even though the Ritter has more of a spoon end, and this is just a flat. I personally like the spoon style clip a little better, I believe. I know a lot of the what's the guy's name? Zinker. A lot of the Zinker Boker knives have a spoon style deep carry clip that I absolutely love. A lot of people, it's a love-hate type thing, but I love Brad Zinker's clips on his Bokers, and this is not like the Boker, it's similar, but it's the spoon style. I just love it. I'm going off topic like I always do. Back to what we have in hand. So I like the T8 on the Hogue. I like the stylized toolless on the Benchmade. I do not like the T6 on the backside. Clips are great on both. Size-wise, they are very, very similar, very fluid. The Benchmade is a little more hydraulic feeling. The action is a little, I wouldn't say stiffer, but more resistant. I don't know if that's the right word to use. I can't do it underneath the camera, but to get this to open and close, you have to flick it with authority, and you have to sort of, give it that whip to get it to close, and it closes no problem. On the Hogue, it's pretty much drop. Just the weight of the blade brings it down. You ain't got to use no flick of the wrist action. I really like the pattern on this. When I first got this from Rodney, it was brand new in box, but there was some chalkiness to the scales, and I'm guessing that's just where it had been sitting in storage, and I reckon dried out. I tried to wash it, and I couldn't get it gone. So I took just a little bit of natural castor oil. I mean, I'm talking about just a drop, and hand rub this in here to the scales, and it's not slick at all, and I got rid of that chalkiness, and it come out pretty good. I do like that both knives have well, I don't know, I'm not sure what the hardware is, if it goes into, if this is just tapped into the parent G10 here, but on this one we actually have threaded brass inserts, which I'm not sure if it's a great thing. If you get them cross-threaded, that could be a problem, but I do like that. If this is just straight G10, I imagine this would be more repeatable, taken apart, you know, disassembling and reassembling. This would hold up better. And like I said, the action on both is great. I think this one, the Ritter, has better acoustics. It just got a, I don't know if you can hear that, to me. And I'm having to do all this under camera. Depending on how hard I flick it, they're real comparable. In hand, we're looking at, you know, pretty much a size on size image, to where if you butt them up to each other, the tail to tail, the Hogue is about maybe an 1/8 inch to 3/16 of an inch longer. We can actually get you a measurement on that. On the Benchmade, we're looking at, if I can get my calipers to work, 4 5/8. And on the Hogue, 4 inch 7/37. So yeah, roughly right at an 1/8 of an inch, just a little bit shy. For a thickness, and the palm swell were just over 5/8 of an inch at 640. And on the Benchmade, I really can't get there because the clip is there. We're about the same, about 6 5/8, just a little shy. So one's a tick under, the Benchmade is a tick under 5/8, the Hogue is a tick over 5/8. We have somewhat the same style stainless steel liners on the Benchmade. They're blacked out to go along with the blacked out theme of the scales and the hardware. And on the Hogue, we have the backspacers and liners that are matching the blade, so it's not a fully blacked out unit, which I'm fine with both. I think that I would like to possibly own one day a fully blacked out unit. I think they have one in M390, or maybe even the orange one. I'm working with Rodney now, well, not now, maybe in the future I will be, on talking to him about an orange one. But that being said, great looking knives. The ergonomics with the palm swell is just great in hand. This is, I think, the Ritter, because of this forward thumb ramp and the jimping on the blade. It just feels rock solid in hand. As where, again, this could be because of the blade shape, that other Griptillians might feel like the Hogue. Even though the jimping is nice here, it doesn't feel as secure in my hand. Again, this is my opinion and take on this. On both knives, the clip does bite just a little bit in the palm of my hand, but my wife says I have hands like leather, so when I say bite, it might be worse for someone else, or I might have soft hands and I'm complaining for no reason. But I can feel the clip in the hand, and that's when I'm grabbing it, you know, in the working motion per se. Now, these knives are tools. I'm not going to say they're weapons, but, you know, to each his own. The reverse grip, because we do have jimping, which is a coarser jimping on the Benchmade, and a finer jimping on the Hogue. This has a very nice reverse grip with a nice spot for your thumb to land and grab. And when I'm grabbing it this way, you can see that my pinky finger, my middle finger, lays right in that clip almost perfectly. So reverse grip on both of these is the same. This one here is not as pronounced, but it feels just the same. Actually, my finger's riding a little bit to the tip of the spoon, but that's the way I'm holding it. It's just great hand and feel. Actually, I want to say the Benchmade feels a little bit better in reverse grip to me. The overall polished edge on this, I reckon you'd call it a bark, does feel a little smoother in hand. I believe that the Starburst G10 would be more grippy in gloved hands or in wet conditions. I believe this would be a better performer. You can see some of that chalkiness right there that I was talking about. I did not do anything to this side. But that being said, in pocket, they are both deep carry. And one thing I noticed when I stuck them in pocket, that both of them go in and out of pocket well. Get it over my Jesus patch. That the lanyard option on the Benchmade goes into the pocket. So you only got about 1/4 of an inch sticking out of the pocket. And on the Hogue, you have just over maybe 3/8 of an inch, and the lanyard option is sticking out. Don't think it makes that big of a difference. Both of those fit well in and out of pocket. I do notice that on these two variations, and Griptillian, I think there's like a trillion configurations you can get the Benchmade Griptillian in. This is rocking S30V, and this is 20CV. Now, I would say that the 20CV is the more premium blade steel. I like the stonewash on this drop point, and again, that thumb ramp is just butter perfect. I love it. And I love a Tonto too. This is a little bit smaller profile in pocket or in hand. You can see that the blade profiles are substantially different. I believe this one would be a better slicer. The thickness behind the edge feels lean and thin, and it's even thin on the Benchmade. Blade to blade, I'm thinking we have more cutting action on the Hogue. We're looking at about let's see, try to do this on camera, and it's hard, y'all, especially with these thumb studs in the way. Right at 4 inches on the Hogue. Well, substantially. Did I measure that wrong? Let me do that again. All right, so 3 3/8 on the Benchmade. I must have measured that wrong. Yeah, I measured wrong. 3 inch 350 on the Hogue, and 3 inch 373. So the Benchmade is longer, and looking at it, you know, it can be deceiving. The Hogue looks longer to me visually, but we're getting 25 thousandths more. So, you know, on camera, get it up here so you can see it. You know, each block is 1 inch. So I'll do this one this way. We're looking at 3 1/4 of cutting edge, roughly, not quite. And I know it's sort of off camera for y'all to see. I'm actually getting a little more cutting edge. I'm getting about 3 3/8 cutting edge. So we have more cutting edge on the Hogue. And for weights, I have not weighed these, so I cannot tell you which is lighter or heavier. But we're going to find out together. Does that sound good? And the way I got this camera done, I don't know how well y'all going to be able to see the readout here, but I will read it off to you, okay? Just so we can make things clear. We're at 4.55 ounces and 128.9 grams. So 129 grams and 4.55 ounces for the 4.46 ounces. So literally, yeah, they didn't feel that much difference. If anything, I was going to say this one was a tick lighter, but it was unrecognizable. So that's why I didn't even say anything. But they feel great in the hand, and just overall a great knife. I believe that both are readily available on the market, you know, from the various knife stores and eBay, and on the secondary market you can find these all day. This is available, I think, in like 4 variations. This is available in 1 trillion variations. This is available exclusively in some setups through Knife Center only. This is available in various configurations through multiple online retailers. I would recommend either or. But if I had to make a choice of just keeping one, and thank God I don't, my choice would be the Hogue. That's just me. Now, that being said, if this was in a different configuration, it might be more so for the Benchmade. I think one of these in a drop point and some custom micarta scales, or either the sheep's foot and some kind of fancy scales, I think this one would be a hard one to beat. Even though I love this custom patriotic and very nice. And again, a big shout out to Bad Monkey EDC. Troy, thank you very much. God bless you, brother. Today is Sunday the 6th. And this will be going out to you this week, and I will be sending it out. I won't take it apart, but I will blow it out with compressed air, clean it, sterilize it, and pack it up nice and protected for you, brother. Thank you so much for your sincerity and your friendship. And that's what I have. Oh, and of course, can't argue with 20 CV. And I'm imagining there's many blade variations, blade steels that are available for the Griptillian. So that's what Knaftastic EDC has for you. And I hope my camera has worked, because I'm getting ready to find out when I cut this thing off, it might go kaput and I lose it. So I have to do it all over again. You see what I guys got to deal with? You see what I got to deal with? A wacky phone. All right, y'all. This is Rodney. You know me. Knaftastic EDC. God bless. Peace. Bye.